So at 10 a.m. I'd like to declare the 2013 AGM open and welcome the delegates. The first order of business that we'll go through today is acceptance of the 2012 AGM minutes, which should have been distributed and read this course. I would ask that any amendments to that, if there's any amendments to those minutes, please speak up and let us know. Yes. Yep. Yes.
And also, what's supposed was an apology.
Thank you. Duly noted. Any other amendments? We've got someone propose that those minutes be accepted. Thank you. All right. What we'll do now is I'll speak to some matters related to this year, and then I'll pass to Tony Scott, the CEO, to speak. Now, like many of you, I have spent my whole life in hockey, wondering how to take control of this great game and how to take control of our own destiny and our own future. And today what I'm going to do is to bring together many of the recent announcements and initiatives that we've done from a strategic point of view so that all of the hockey community can understand where we're coming from. These initiatives, as a prelude, are designed to do, I want you to think of two things for me. The first is they're designed to protect our future, and the other thing that they're designed to do is to bring us closer together. So, firstly, let me explain why all the changes. Why these changes have been publicly wrong. Why did they surface now? The stark reality is that governance of our sport has become a major issue, and government is becoming a lot more influential and directing about how sports are administrated and run. And it's not just hockey. You can pick any sport in this country. And there are significant sticks being involved to make sure that sports start to play their part. And Hockey New South Wales has to deliver along with that as well. I think the other thing that many of you may resonate is, if I can make a general term, and that's called the business of sport. This sport has an important business element to it that needs to be maintained and self-sustaining and feed everything from the bottom to the top. It's not going away, and we need to be cognizant of building structures that protect that in the future. The other little problem we have, which is undeniable, is that the growth in our game is less than the growth in the population. We must find ways to address this. There's also a generational change in volunteerism. It's not getting any easier, and we need to find ways to deal with that challenge. And jointly, we've got to find ways to own this outcome and figure out what to do. So you'll see, hence, the reason for some of the things that we've done. So let me wrap all that up. What does that mean? what do I, the board, management, and people that we've discussed really want out of all of this? We need sustainable organisation structures in the future. We need integrated programs from the state body to the association in joint partnerships. We need to work together much closer. And we've got to find a way to bulletproof our future together. And that is what a lot of the recent activity, if I can put it that way, has been about. Now, we've taken deliberate actions to address many of the things that I've just talked about. And I want to touch on some of them. We had workshops this afternoon on a couple of key areas. And many of the board of directors will be around to talk about many of the things this afternoon. So, let me talk through some of the elements. First is development. This year, we've had 1,708 juniors go through development programs in the state. We've deliberately re-architected the high performance camps. And I know there's a lot of questions in the hockey community about why, but let me be clear about what the new world looks like for high performance camps. Increased services that matter for the modern game. And they will be professionally run by professionally qualified hockey people. A very big difference, and that's no disrespect or slight on anything that we've all done in the past to run these camps, but it's time to get serious. Announcements such as regional coaching coordinators across metropolitan and country in South Wales. These camps and centres will be part of the fabric of hockey in South Wales going forward. And they will expand further. They are a partnership between Hockey New South Wales and all of our members, and a deliberate, defined program to grow our game. Make no mistake about it. It's been a very hard fought through process, and I'm actually super excited about how all of these initiatives are blending together. And when we've got, I mentioned we've got 6, they won't stop at 6. They will expand out. Now, the other thing the 2 things I really like about this is that it goes back to some of the earlier principles I talked about. The first is it's a joint partnership between association and the South Wales body. And the KPIs that the full-time roles hold, they are employees of Hockey New South Wales, that their KPIs are administered between the zone that they support and the office. And that, my friends, is direct feedback from many that I've talked to and many of us on the board and management we've talked to. Let me move to the Athlete Acceleration Program, or AAP. This is another deliberate, defined initiative to expand development opportunities for our emerging athletes. So we've taken the opportunity to expand on the ETS program and replace it with a brand new program that triples the ETS program in size. And what it does is it expands the opportunity and takes it out of Homebush and spreads it back across our state. Now, I know we'll talk about AAP probably this afternoon in a further presentation, but it is a deliberate, targeted, well thought through strategy that will be implemented and to bring further development to our game. So we started the year off with getting our fundamentals right on development camps for all, not ability for all. We moved it into high performance camps that need to have professional guidelines linked to Hockey Australia requirements, professionally run and professionally administered, with outcomes. And we move that into our AAP program as our athletes look for a professionally run vehicle, further developed activity, direct into in-Swiss and direct into HO in the future. That is an awesome pathway into the future. Let me talk about briefly association reform. And there is a further presentation on this later this afternoon, but we have been requested, there's been a lot of reasons why. The very first reason why, without any doubt in my mind, and I understand that there will be difficulties, is it is the right thing to do. It is the right thing that fits the structures. Now, we have a few other requests that we've received from the Australian Sports Commission and Hockey Australia to undertake this reform. I want that to be clear to all the members. That approach has been direct to the board. So it's about controlling our future together. It's about efficient structures. It's about addressing what I would call mixed success in the past. We've had success and some failure about addressing on this issue in the past, but it can be done very confidently. So I recognise that it is going to be difficult for some. For many, for a lot of the membership, it's business as usual. For others, it requires significant change, and for others, it requires some incremental change. We understand that. But I'm going to stand with you on this. Now, maybe I can put a couple of other statements in your mind that just to ease any concern. The first is that the risks are short-term, but the benefits are long-term. And the reform, so there's absolutely no doubt about this, is here to stay. And we will stay with you while we help you get through this. Before I close, I guess, to reiterate back to the start, we are in control of our own destiny if we own it. I'm very confident in the board and management of the company to be able to help you deliver it. And the future state, in my view, for Hockey New South Wales has been set up to be an extremely successful, bright future. and I and many others are going nowhere until it gets done. So we can all benefit from that. I'm up for it. And 2013 was the start. So I'm really looking forward to next year. In closing, I'd like to say, before I hand over to Tony Mistrov, the Chief Executive, that personally, from the support of Tony and the board, I've really enjoyed my presidency for the first year. But most importantly, the support that I've had from members has been overwhelming. I really appreciate it. So thank you for that. There's one order of business before I hand over to Tony that I'd like to address, and that is I would like to report 3 apologies for today's meeting. Due to, as many of you know, the weather has stopped many planes hitting the tarmac. So Karen Kennedy, our Vice President, Joe Dolan from New England, and Chris Shepherd from Hamilton will be recording some apologies for today. So thank you for that. Tony, I'll hand over to you as we go through the remainder of the presentation today.
Thanks very much, Larry. First, I'd like to start off by acknowledging the association and the delegates that are attending here today. I want to reiterate Larry's words. I want to thank you for all your support. I know we don't agree always, but the way you've handled yourself and me particularly, you obviously know we've got a job to do to govern your sport all over the state and realise your goals and needs. I just want to thank you, particularly in my second year for your collaboration. And as Larry said, an exciting future and a real future for the business. So just want to acknowledge that firstly. Excuse me. I'd also like to acknowledge the board, led by Larry Marr, and thank you for your support and acknowledge the work that you've done this year with some courageous decisions. I think it's the correct decision and the only one for the future of hockey in New South Wales. I'd also like to acknowledge my staff. They've done a tremendous job this year. It's not an easy job. We do field a lot of complaints, and there are some positive feedback as well. But I just want to acknowledge all of their work in contributing to a successful story today. It's been a tremendous year staff-wise, and we intend to retain those important staff moving into next year. So thank you very much to the staff. I just want to go through a presentation. The presentation will focus on what we achieved last year, 2012-2013, and also the objectives for 2013-2014. If you can remember my presentation last year, I focused on a number of areas, and one of those was development. So if I could just start off by going through the achievements from last year. There was a slight increase in registration. I didn't think we had the tools to increase the numbers significantly. That increase was at 1%. We see that moving significantly next year with the oncoming RCC network and obviously the skills camps and so on. So I see that really moving on. The successful part of the year has been the implementation of the coaching director. As you would have seen from my presentation last year, there's a real focus on development, and I think that theme has been brought through with Warren Birmingham coming on board. Warren's done a great job in being proactive in setting up the structures for the future of this organisation. You've obviously seen the Stick to Hockey program. That will be more widespread next year. It's a modified form of the game. Small-sided games is the future of hockey, and that will help increase the participation rate. We really have to embrace this at the club and association level, and obviously the skills development camps where kids of all abilities will get an opportunity to improve their skills and keep them and retain them in the game. So I think that's hugely important. The other one up there is the coaching hub. We're still developing that. We have had some issues in regard to IT. That will be available in the new year for any coaches at club level and association that want to learn how to play the New South Wales way or general skills, core skills. life management, nutrition and so on to pass on to the kids. So I think it's a really important directive. It has taken a little bit longer than we first thought, but I think that's a really important and effective directive that Hockey New South Wales wants to implement. On the introduction of rebates at association level, it has been a minor success and probably not the uptake of what we've really tried to change and have a commercial focus. There's been 8 new sponsors this year. That's part of the business we really wanted to improve, and I think we have. And I think it's in the interest of the associations and clubs, to take up these sponsors, and the rebates go back to you as clubs or associations, and it'll help build income streams for you as clubs. So I think it's important we have a look at that. And of course, the presence of sponsors at Hockey New South Wales events, I think once again that's been a real step change in our business. The presence of commercial partners, I think that's the way, the step change we need to go forward as a sport. We all see that the tier 1 sports with commercial support, I think we have to embrace that more, and we look to embrace that as an organisation as well. So also you've got there the development approach and state championships. I think that's really important. State championships are a vehicle and avenue for us to develop our officials particularly, not just players. I see officials as a huge, important part of our game moving forward. We wouldn't be able to play the game without them. And more focus will definitely go on that area next year with the RCCs, but in collaboration with the state championships and doing more work there. You'll see here stronger working relations with stakeholders. There's a new CEO at Hockey Australia, Cameron Bale. He's very proactive in setting a huge target in regard to participation. This is a big shift for Hockey Australia. It's normally about the elite end of the sport, but Cam seriously wants to increase, as a collaborative in each state, the participation rate. So that's once again a step change. So, our partnerships and main stakeholders, including yourselves, obviously you are our main stakeholders, but also Hockey Australia and NSW, we're working together to get the result for Hockey New South Wales. That's what we're looking for. The facility audit was communicated at the President's Forum. This is a really big part of Hockey New South Wales moving forward. You've seen there the formulation of the working group. Our game can't grow unless we're growing our facilities, maintaining our facilities, and also getting new government funding for new facilities. This is a crucial part, I think, of our business. We've got the hockey community with a working group. There has been some questions, but I think clearly we want to assist associations. As Larry was saying, this is a partnership. We're only as strong a sport as strong as our associations are. We need strong associations to grow the sport, and we need to clearly assist you. And that's where you'll hear that theme today. Maybe with the communication that was going out, that hasn't come out in the communication, but after today, hopefully you'll get the view that we are generally here to assist you to grow. And that's what it's all about. It's about the growth of the sport. It's about growing the participation, getting more kids in the game, growing your revenue, and leading those kids, and those kids going through to their dreams if they want, or just to participate and enjoy hockey. So I think that's an important part of what we're trying to do. And then obviously the implementation of the new database. It was late in the day. It was a national deal. There has been difficulties, but there is solutions moving forward. We've been in constant contact with Hockey Australia and IMG to improve and get the best database we can. I truly believe we will have the best system for hockey, but there is a little way to go, so we ask for your patience in that. But I think as a sport, this is where we need to go. We need to really register it online. So that's, I suppose, the achievements. And I think also, to add to that, a completed risk assessment is really important. The part we haven't probably focused on as an organisation. We want to cascade that down to associations and clubs. We've done a full risk management plan. You'll see the objectives about the stronger governance we want to have as an organisation. I think it's really important that we ascertain what are the association's responsibility, what's Hockey New South Wales' responsibility, and what are the club's responsibilities in regard to risk. So once again, you get assistance and direction from us in that regard. So I think it's important. And once again, the retention of staff. I've worked incredibly hard this year to put on some team building sessions, training for staff, training for our leadership group. And I think the way we can best serve you as members is to retain our staff. Familiar faces are really important, I think, and that's happened over the last year and a half. All the staff who wanted to keep key staff have remained on board, and I'm proud to say that we have got a really team environment at Hockey New South Wales. Every staff member has got KPIs, individual KPIs, and where they need to go as an individual, so they know exactly what job they need to do. And it's been well embraced by the staff, and we've got a terrific environment at the moment, and which has added, I think, to the success. I will say, and sound out on that the financial stability has been a real achievement. And I just want to acknowledge Karen Townsend for her work that she's done, and also the Finance Committee. It's been a really stable 2 years and enable us to make the definitive change we want going forward. So I just want to acknowledge that point. I think Larry's gone through a few of these points, our objectives for 2013 or more 2014. The RCC network is something Hockey New South Wales has never ever before introduced at all, so it is new for all of us. This year is a pilot. We, as Larry acknowledged, we do want every association involved in 2015. That is the goal. We want to be able to deliver school programs, participation programs, and also high performance programs across the state. And we all want to be on the same page. So I think it's important that we move in that direction, but I think it's step one. We've got 6 throughout New South Wales, and it'll be a fantastic initiative, and look forward to 2015 having every association involved. But, Warren, I want to acknowledge him. Warren at this stage has put so much work into the RCC network and the AAP program. They're 2 fresh and new programs, something that I'm hugely excited about. So the RCC network will support the AAP, Hockey New South Wales Athlete Acceleration Program, as Larry acknowledged. That means there's 120 of our kids in an elite program. Replacing the ETS program, there was 40 in that program. So what we're saying is we want to give more kids more of an opportunity. That's what we're saying. We don't want to lose the kids just because they don't make an elite squad. We don't want to lose them. We want to work and improve them. There's going to be a profile on every kid where you need to improve, what you're good at, what you need to improve on. So I think that allowed them to get a good picture of the levels they need to improve. So I think this is a huge change, particularly for our brand and image and where we were 2 years ago. This is the most exciting, I think, the RCC and the AAP, what we're doing currently. So it's been, I'd say, I wouldn't say well received at this point. I don't think maybe the community, through the communication, understand the strategic objectives behind it. I think Warren will be able to explain that in his presentation coming up after the AGM, and you will have a forum to ask questions as well. So obviously the commencement of the association reform, we want to be structured for growth. That's what we're here for. We're here to grow the game. The board acknowledged that we don't think we were structured for growth, and this is about growth of the game, financially viable associations to grow the game. That's what we're here for. That's my #1 brief. That's what the board wants. So I think you'll hear that loud and clear today. Online payment of registration will be mandated next year. As part of the Hockey New South Wales, I suppose, financial statements and so on, it just didn't work from a financial point for us. We had to virtually guess what the registration number was going to be, and if that number was short, we would run into a deficit. So from a financial sense, it just wasn't acceptable for us, and also for you as members. So now we'll be able to get the funds in by a certain date. Therefore, we'll be able to know what we're spending on development, skills camps, state championships and so on. We'll be in control of our finances. Not only that, I think there's a huge benefit for associations. There's not only, you can talk to your members, you'll have all their contacts, it also will save volunteers, and that's what we're all about. I think everyone's time poor in this modern age, and I think with the advent of payment and online registration, that will really stop the drain of volunteers. Also there's a state a statewide five-a-side tournament down for SOPA in March. This communication hasn't come out yet, but a new initiative we thought of to lift the profile and branding of the game and also entertain the five-a-side form of the game. FIH now has two forms of the game. It's 11-a-side and 5-a-side. So we want to embrace that. I think it's an exciting opportunity. I think it promotes more touches for kids and adults and will allow for obviously more skill development. So that will happen in March. It'll be available for all association clubs and so on. There will be prize money for that. So it's a new concept over the weekend, the 15th of March, and a real opportunity to brand our sport. There'll be mixed teams, men's and women. There'll be an elite team and also children. So we're encompassing every part of our game, and we need to promote that in our game. This is a game for every age, boys and girls, men and women. We don't promote that enough, and that's exactly what this event will promote. So exciting, it's an exciting event and one that's now being developed, and hear that communication before Christmas. Obviously the governance is a huge part of sport moving forward. We need to get our governance right. We're doing that at the moment. I want us to be the leading state sporting organisation in the state in regard to governance, and we think we'll get there by June. We're now going through all our policies and procedures. That will cascade again down to clubs and associations. You'll be able to use these documents as well. As I said, we're only as strong as our association. You need to embrace the same governance principles as the governing body. So that will be available to associations. And I think the last point is really important, to continue to help you grow as associations. That's what we want to do. As Larry said, this is a partnership. You are our main stakeholders, and we want to work with you to grow the game. So on that, that's the end of my presentation and objectives for 2013 and 14. I look forward to the workshop and discussion after the AGM. I think you'll get a lot out of that, particularly with Warren's presentation and also the association perform with Larry. So look forward to chatting with you again. But I just wanted to introduce Karen Townsend, the New South Wales accountant, to present the financials for 2012-2013.